Well, although Invasion has some solid dramatic elements and mystery, for a show called Invasion, it's taken its sweet time for the invasion to feel like it's arrived. Stick around and I'll explain. I'm Paeter from christiangeekcentral.com and Spirit Blade Productions. This is my uncut review of Invasion, the premiere anyway, on Apple TV+, episodes 1 through 3. The synopsis on IMDb says, Earth is visited by an alien species. Are you certain? Are you sure about that? That threatens humanity's existence. Events unfold in real time, I believe that, through the eyes of 5 ordinary people across the globe as they struggle to make sense of the chaos unraveling around them. All right. This is a disaster drama with sci-fi elements. A disaster drama with sci-fi elements. A retiring sheriff is looking for meaning to his life. A couple has a marriage crisis and they're kind of on the run now in the midst of this disaster. A woman is mourning the loss of her lover. A Marine is trying to find his missing unit. And an underdog schoolboy is dealing with a nasty bully. These are all separate stories happening in different parts of the globe that they are cutting back and forth between to give time to. If that sounds like a lot, it is. It feels like a lot. And they're really giving solid amounts of time to each of these. The problem is, I really wish they would cut at least 1 or 2 of them out and use some more, the remaining time to move the invasion forward. Each group is trying to survive in the midst of mysterious quote-unquote attacks, I guess. They're really more like disasters that seem orchestrated in their timing, but still largely in their appearance seem natural or meteorological in nature. It takes the first 2 full episodes to introduce all of these separate stories, and one of them seems completely abandoned after the first episode. Despite a large investment of time given to it, there is no sense that they're going to be returning to it after watching all of episode 2 and episode 3. And that's a real shame. It was one of the ones I was more interested in, and I have no idea why it was so abruptly, seemingly abandoned. I think they'll actually probably come back to it, but wow. I think the mileage is really going to vary for viewers in terms of connecting to these different storylines based on your own life experience and in some cases your view of the world. There's one that I care almost nothing about. There's another I don't emotionally connect with in the way intended because it requires that I agree with worldview issues that I don't. And the invasion aspect, particularly any alien aspect about it, seems like an extremely low priority to develop in the writer's room. The most we get is like mysterious happenings, like power outages and disrupted signals and some explosions that come out of nowhere. And they cue up suspenseful music for these almost every time as though something's about to be revealed, and then the power turns back on, or whatever. Oh, I guess everything's fine. I guess that's not going anywhere, and it almost never is. There are some glimpses of alien-looking things, but not creatures, more like craft or gadgets or something like that. But those are very rare. Most of the time, it's really kept masked behind these other more pedestrian-looking things. As far as the cast goes, it's solid acting across the board. I don't have any complaints. They actually go a long way to keep me from completely checking out. But their solid acting can't make up for an invasion story that stubbornly refuses to advance the invasion like I want it to. As far as stunts and visuals go, not tons of visual effects, but the matching, but the quality matches the premium streaming show standards that I think we've come to expect without setting new bars at the same time. As far as themes, is there anything of moral, philosophical, or spiritual significance going on in the themes of this thing that might trigger some worthwhile thought and conversation? There's probably a bunch of little things. The struggle with the married couple whose marriage is in crisis, and certainly some conversation that could be had around the woman who's mourning the loss of her lover. But the one that really stands out to me, I guess, is the sheriff. He seems to be some kind of Christian, and he's searching for meaning in his life, although his view of God and his view of what the meaning of life and where he expects to find it really don't match Scripture. He assumes that his purpose for living can be whittled down to one thing or one event. A coworker tries to encourage him with the idea that he's done many meaningful things throughout his career as a sheriff, helped many people. But really, the biblical view of human meaning is that each individual has meaning and purpose not because of what they do, but because God made them as reflections of himself, and and loves them. And that in and of itself gives their existence a purpose and a meaning. The question is whether or not they're going to choose to engage in that, Our purpose in life is to be dedicated to the greatest and highest good, which is God himself, to love him, and then out of that to love others as well, and to ultimately enjoy a restored relationship with him forever. That's the purpose of our lives. And if that sounds to us like a weird or boring thing to dedicate our lives to, which I've certainly felt that at times, it's because we aren't effectively factoring in who God is. We're just forgetting. That's why so much of Scripture is about reminding people who God is, what he's done. The Scripture says things from Genesis to Revelation. It says a lot of some key things over and over and over again, because we just forget. We get distracted by the things in life that are really intense or that are shiny and fun or whatever the case might be. There's so many things that take our eyes off of the truth, and so we need to be reminded of it again and again and again. And so if we're honest, we as Christians find ourselves disenchanted with giving our all to God a lot of the time. And that's not because God is lacking, it's because our understanding of him is, or our recognition of things we already know about him is not being brought to our minds and really focused on, and allowing and being allowed to shape our view of our circumstances and the world in our lives. So those are times, I think, to ask unjadedly, why is God such a big deal? We can jadedly say, well, what's such a big deal about God? But we're really not looking for the answer there. I think the solution that can take us in a better direction is to take that question and not ask it in a jaded manner, but say, well, what is the big deal about God? Why should we worship him? Why is he worthy of worship? And then genuinely seek out the answers to those questions, or reminders of answers we already know about those questions, through understanding and reflecting on what the Bible reveals about God. All right, well, I have no idea what your tastes are in TV shows, but if I were a time traveler, I'd go back in time and say, Paeter, oh, skip this one. It's got a neat promo trailer type thing for it, but the title is really going to feel deceptive to you 3 episodes in, when there's no alien in sight, and anything that's sci-fi is really, really rare that it actually shows up. It's taken way too long to get to the part that you are, I don't want to say most interested in, but it's taken a long time to get the part going that you really want to see going at this point. It's rated, I don't know, TM, I don't know what it was. There's no actual nudity. There's some sexy stuff and a good amount of skin that gets shown. But the qualifications, or the categorizations, I should say, for the content is violence, sexual content, and language. And those are all my thoughts for now on the series premiere of Apple TV Plus's Invasion. I would love to get your thoughts and reactions in the comments below. Please like, share, subscribe, and click that bell to stay connected. I want to thank the Spirit Blade Insiders for making so much of my content possible. For more information about the benefits of being an insider, go to patreon.com/SpiritBladeProductions. Then, I hope you join us soon over at christiangeekcentral.com as we continue to geek out and seek the truth.